Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Podiatry Business Podcast with myself, Lorcan, podiatrist, owner of Podiatry Patients on Tap and Podiatry Marketing Coach. So today's podcast is called Facebook Ads, What's Working in Podiatry Now. So what I want to do is I want to talk to you about Facebook ads that we're finding are working for our podiatry clinic owners or clients across the world. Now, when I'm talking about Facebook ads, what I mean is Facebook and Instagram ads. And what I'm not talking about here is getting likes or getting shares. You can't pay the bills with likes or shares. So if you have anybody coming to you saying, I got you this many clicks, I got you this many impressions, that is irrelevant. What you need to know is how many patients did you get me, how much money did I make, and show me those patients. What we're also not talking about here is boosting ads. So sometimes Facebook, when you put something on, post of something on Facebook, will encourage you to boost your Facebook as an ad. And that is not a good idea. I've dealt with that before, but it's a great way to get your ad or yourself banned on Facebook. So commonly I'll have clinic owners come to me and they say, I've tried Facebook before, it just doesn't work. Or they've turned it off in the past. So they've done it and they've tried it and they turned it off. Or I'll hear, my front desk said that they're really poor leads. There is no such thing as poor leads. There is just basically poor follow-up. And I will deal with this through this podcast or even if you're watching it, like I said, on YouTube. Now, there are drawbacks with Facebook, with using Facebook ads, as there are with every type of marketing campaign that you do. So firstly, the interface on the Facebook Ads Manager is not easy to use. It's very techy and it's pretty obvious. It's been designed by guys who don't really understand normal people, tech guys essentially. And it's easy to get lost in there and overwhelmed. What they also tend to do is they tend to change it a lot without any notification and any real training on how you actually use it. So it's a great place to spend and get lost and spend hours trying to figure out what they're trying to do, which you don't have. Secondly, it will spend all of your money. So if you say to Facebook, I'm going to give you $1,000 this week, it will spend the entire $1,000, even if all it gives you is complete rubbish. Now that's not the case with every ad campaign type out there. So if Google won't necessarily do that if you run the right type of campaign, but Google or Facebook absolutely will do that. So that's often why we see clinic owners just burn through cash through Facebook if they don't set it up correctly. Or if they have an agency that comes to them and says, we got you this many clicks, we got you this many impressions, they'll just burn your cash and quite quickly you'll realize, actually, I'm not making any money. Thirdly, when you use Facebook ads, what you're going to find is that the leads are more likely to be rude or maybe not answer the phone, or when you ring them, they're going to pretend they don't know who you are, etc. Now, that's not that they're bad people on Facebook. They're the same as you and me, okay? It's just that in their eyes, you're often a pest. Now, let me explain what I mean by this. So people, when they want a service, they go to Google and they will type in podiatrist near me, etc. And they will actively search for a solution. Whereas on Facebook, on Instagram, they're not doing that. What they're doing instead is they're looking at their favorite football team. Maybe they're looking at a handbag they want to buy or whatever it happens to be. And your ad will pop up as they're scrolling. And they will often be intrigued all the way to, oh, that sounds like something I could use. And they'll click on that ad. You've done this if you're on Facebook. And that's not as warm an intention to go and buy as it is somebody actively searching for it. So in many cases, they'll pretend they didn't want it, or they'll have genuinely forgotten who you are, especially if your follow-up is poor, if you're not following up quickly enough. And I'll explain how you do that properly in a moment and how we're doing that and getting over that for our clients. So that can be, I suppose, demoralizing for an admin team to have to follow up these people who don't know who you are, won't answer the phone, etc., etc. However, there is massive potential if you use Facebook and you use it properly, and you don't have to spend that much money. In my own clinic, for example, and I have like 7 clinicians work for me, I spend just over 2,000 a month on Google and I spend 300 a month on Facebook, but it is phenomenal when done well. So I have a client at the moment, and this client, when they came to me initially, they they were on their own, they were struggling, and now their clinic has increased by over 5 times, and they're now opening their second clinic. So they're opening their second clinic maybe 100 miles away from the original clinic. And they came and they told me they were doing this, etc. And my advice is that we turn on their paid ads 6 weeks before they open. In fact, it was 2 weeks before they even got the key and signed the lease. And the reason was we weren't going to wait until the day they opened to start to get patients. We were going to try and fill that diary before they even turned up. And that's what we've done. Now, when you do Google ads, we've done Google and Facebook for this clinic owner. Google takes 60, 90 days to really start to kick in and be very efficient. The algorithm is slower for various reasons. But Facebook's not like that. You can run Facebook ads, and within 24 or 48 hours, when using the strategy I'm going to explain now, you'll have patients booked in your diary and sitting in front of you. So with this system, this clinic owner, and at the time of recording, they're not even opening for 2 weeks, has the first week almost completely full, and they've over 44,000 euros worth of work booked in. Now, if they convert 100%, they're looking at those kind of numbers. This clinic owner typically has about an 80 to 90%, let's say 80% conversion. You can do the numbers, you're talking about 35,000 in the first week using Facebook. That's a pretty good start to the business. And the reason that it's worked is that the strategy that we implemented was really, really good, and we had tested it in other clinics, including this in his clinic, before we used it in his. Because as we do marketing for multiple podiatry clinics worldwide, we're able to test, and when something works in one clinic, we're able to tell everyone else, and we start to roll it out. But strategy is the key, because if you just go along and you do Facebook ad, because I'm going to do Facebook because I hear that guy's doing Facebook, you're likely to find it, you're going to waste money, you're not going to get anywhere, you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to be turned off Facebook, which is exactly what happened to another client of mine currently. So this client of mine, unbeknownst to me, decided to go off and do Facebook ads without asking me, which is fine, by the way, obviously. But a week later, I said, how are you getting on? I don't know. I don't think I'm making any money. I'm just spending money. So the strategy was complete. They didn't have a strategy. They just did Facebook ads. So what is the strategy that we're using with our clients? Let me explain that to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to use, and what you should be using is a combination of direct response and information marketing. So direct response marketing is when we get them to directly respond to us by giving them their contact details. And you can do this by getting to fill in a format. We call it a lead format. We're getting their name, we're getting their email, and we're getting their phone number. So we can then follow up because they've given us permission then to follow up with them. Information marketing is where we're going to give them information either for free or heavily discounted that is useful to them and that they have an interest in. In this case, what we're doing is we're offering a discounted appointment. We're doing high ticket appointments, high ticket conditions, because what we don't want is to get somebody in who comes in and spends, has one appointment, a chiropody appointment, and may not come back. We want somebody who has a problem that's going to require ongoing treatment at a high ticket price. Fungal nail infections, it could be plantar fasciitis, it could be ingrown toenail that needs surgery, etc. So we're going after these conditions, and then what we're doing is we're offering a heavily discounted appointment. So for example, the original appointment might be, say, $99, and we're offering it for $29. That is the strategy that we're going to use. Now, there's a few other things that we need to do in this case. So there are a few rules that we must have when we follow marketing, and these equally will apply to your Facebook ads. So the first rule that we have is there must always be an offer. And like I said, we're doing a discounted appointment for a high ticket item. The second reason is there must be a reason to act now. There must be limit in some way, either limited number of appointments, limited by time, or something. Because if you have a campaign running and you can, the person reading the campaign can have it at any old time they like, then they're not going to act now, and therefore they're likely to put it off. And especially with Facebook, if they're going to put it off, what you're going to find is that they're going to forget about you because they actively weren't searching for you and for your clinic. Rule number 3 is that as they're not as warm a lead like I explained, you need to try and get them, as many of them, to say yes immediately. I mean literally immediately. And how you're going to do that is you're going to encourage them to book an appointment immediately. So you need an online booking system as part of this. So your online booking system should be integrated with this Facebook ad campaign. Now, ideally, what you'd like to be able to do, and what I'd recommend, is that you're also taking that discounted appointment payment straight away. So you're taking that $29 straight away, that you're not letting them come to the clinic and then pay you the $29. And the reason for this is because, again, they'll forget about you, and they're more likely to not show up for the appointment unless you take payment. When you take payment, they always turn up, and that works a lot better. So you want to make sure that they can book online immediately and that you can take payment immediately, all automatic, all without any human intervention, without it depending on you or your team. Rule number 4, you must always follow up well. Now, research tells us that ideally you should be following up within 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, if you haven't followed up in some fashion within 5 minutes, your conversion rates are going to drop by about 80%. 80%. Now, most clinics do not do this. They follow up when they get back into work, if they follow up at all. So I'm minded of one clinic owner who we were doing Facebook ads for. We set it all up, did all of this sort of stuff, and he came back to me and he said, this isn't working at all. I'm not getting any patients. So we went and we had a look. And what we found is that he actually, for a very small sum of money, had over 70 people had asked. He had no online booking and he had no ability to take payment. But we had set it up best of our ability to get people to give us their contact details and what they wanted. And 70 people had said, yes, I can I have an appointment. They had also gone to the effort to say what time of the day they wanted and what day they wanted, and they'd filled in what was wrong with them. And these were people who were willing to take that time and effort to do so, to get that appointment. And what had happened with his team? They hadn't followed up at all. They had pretended they'd followed up. Maybe they'd rang him once, that kind of stuff. Maybe 2 or 3 days later. Not good enough. And as a result, wasted his money. Whereas what should happen, and what we do with our clients, is we will follow up within 5 minutes. So the first thing we do is we use AI to our secret or not so secret advantage at this point. So the first thing we do is within 1 minute, we will have AI SMS to that number. And the AI SMS will encourage that patient to have a conversation with it. It will triage that, and it will encourage them to book that appointment online by sharing it'll follow the conversation, and once they're ready to book that appointment, it will give them the online booking and get them to do so. We also have, so the time of recording this, within the next week, 2 weeks, we will have AI voice incorporated into our systems for our clients. And what AI voice will do is we won't ring them directly through AI voice, because again, they're not likely to phone them, and we're going to be, or answer rather I should say, and we're more likely to be looked on as a pest. So we're going to, as part of our AI SMS, we're going to marry that with our AI voice and request that they maybe take a chat if they're not willing to book straight away. If they're happy to do so, what we're going to do is have our AI voice again call. It's going to tell them it's AI voice, and I think that's not a problem. People are used to that at this point. It's going to have to triage, answer their questions, overcome their concerns, and encourage them to make that appointment. Now, the beauty of all of this is it's all automated, and it's all happening within 5 minutes of getting that lead, which means that lead is far warmer, far more likely to go ahead and book that appointment. Now, the results that we're seeing are phenomenal. They're like the clinic owner I just explained. But if I give you an example for your clinic, typically what you can do is you can spend anywhere from say $3 to $5, whatever your currency is, euros, pounds, per day on an ad. That is more than enough to begin with. And you will find when this strategy works in your clinic is that people are booking in and paying you in advance. So you might spend $5 and get $50 worth of payment in advance. This is before they even turn up for that appointment. Then when they turn up for the appointment, if you have you're good at the case acceptance, and your team is good at this, and this is something we help our clients with, then you can get them to then buy that high ticket item, and your $5 ends up being $1,000 per day. That is the beauty of Facebook ads when you do it well. That is how it's done well, and that is what you should be trying to implement into your podiatry clinic, because this is what's working worldwide for our clients right now. Now, if you like the sound of what we do here, and you want to have a chat about us helping you with your marketing in your clinic, well, then you know what to do. Reach out to us, send us an email, drop us a text, whatever works for you, and we'd be delighted to have a quick chat on the phone. So until next time, I hope that helps. If you haven't done Facebook ads before, or you've tried them before and they haven't worked, go back and follow the strategy I'm giving you here and start filling your diary.